Good evening, you're watching 247 Connect here on channel 247 TV. Now, let's take a look at the details of the stories for today. Starting off today's stories from a tragic incident, police in the Ashanti region are investigating the tragic death of 3 siblings suspected to have been killed by an insecticide used to drive away bedbugs from a room they slept in. 2 of the victims died upon arrival at the hospital when the incident happened, while the other one died later, with their grandmother discharged after she was admitted at the hospital. On December 28, 2023, 15-year-old Judith Ekua-France and her siblings, 11-year-old Christian Madeleine Efua-France and 6-year-old Nana Benin, who lived at Pakoso with their mother, visited their grandmother for school holidays in Asawase.
Now, renowned investigative journalist Anas Aremiao Anas has called for a shift in perspective regarding the controversy surrounding the late TB Joshua. He argues that while religious matters are important, the human rights abuse committed by the late pastor should not be overlooked. Anas made this comment after the BBC released a documentary highlighting sexual abuse, rape allegations and alleged manipulation within the Synagogue Church of All Nations led by TB Joshua.
Now, moving away from that, the chairman of the committee investigating the leaked tape containing an alleged plot to remove the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo-Addo, has emphasized the committee's commitment to fairness in its report. Samuel Atachen assured that the committee has no intention of favoring or disadvantaging any witnesses and that the findings will be accurately presented in a report to Parliament. In an interview on Tuesday, January 9, the Member of Parliament for Ebuako South acknowledged that the delay in finalizing the report is due to other parliamentary commitments and the committee's dedication to ensuring a fair process.
The High Court in Ho has dismissed an application filed by the Member of Parliament for Hohoi, John Peter Amewu, to stay the ruling of the court on an election petition regarding the disenfranchisement of residents of Central Kofi, Akbafu, Likpe and Lolobi in the 2023 general elections. The presiding judge, Justice Awahene Achampo, was scheduled to rule on the application on December 21, 2023. This was in response to an application filed by the lawyers of the petitioners, Chatuchikata, based on admissions made by the Electoral Commission.
Now, let's move to the transport system on the business front, where the Ghana Private Road Transport Union has reaffirmed its decision to implement a 60% increase in transport fares in 2024, coinciding with the commencement of the emission levy bill in January 2024. The recently passed emissions levy bill by Parliament imposes an annual fee of 100 cedis on all owners of petrol and diesel cars starting from January 2024. In response to these developments, the GPRTU has petitioned the Speaker of Parliament urging a reconsideration of the emission levy bill.
Now, for the 5th consecutive month, inflation has dropped, recording a rate of 23.2% for December 2023. According to the Consumer Price Index data released on Wednesday, January 10, food inflation stood at 28.7% and non-food inflation recorded 18.7%. Inflation for locally produced items stood at 23.8%, while inflation for imported items stood at 21.9%.
Now, let's take a look at some international stories. Liberia's former Chief Justice, Gloria Muzu-Scott, and 3 of her family members have been sentenced to life imprisonment for murder. The 4 were arrested and indicted in June last year in connection with the death of Charlotte Muzu, who was reportedly Mrs. Scott's niece. In February last year, Charlotte was murdered by unknown people at Mrs. Scott's home in Browaville, northwest Liberia. The former Chief Justice had insisted intruders attacked her residence and killed her niece. But after a 5-month trial, a court in the capital, Monrovia, last month found her and 3 family members guilty of Charlotte's murder. The court on Tuesday said it found the prosecution's evidence compelling and sentenced the 4 to lifetime imprisonment. Liberia abolished the death sentence in July last year.
Now, masked gunmen have broken into a live television studio in Ecuador and threatened terrified staff. Employees were forced onto the floor during the broadcast by the public television channel TC in the city of Guayaquil before the live feed cut out. Police say they later freed all the staff and made 13 arrests, and the station said 2 employees were injured. At least 10 people have been killed since a 60-day state of emergency began in Ecuador on Monday. The emergency was declared after a notorious gangster vanished from his prison cell. It is unclear whether the incident at the TV studio in Guayaquil was related to the disappearance from a prison in the same city of the boss of Tronero gang, Adolfo Matias Villamar, or Vito as he is better known.
Now, let's move straight into doing some sports news. The Black Stars left Ghana for Cote d'Ivoire ahead of the start of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in grand style. The team left Kumasi this morning wearing stylish kaftan outfits as they jetted off to the neighboring country for the tournament. All 27 players as well as the technical team donned their attire for the departure through Air Cote d'Ivoire straight from Kumasi. The short-sleeved shirts were matched by short pants with traditional slippers, ahinema. Chris Hutton's boys wrapped up their pre-tournament campaign in Kumasi with a goalless draw against Namibia Monday night.
Gambians players yesterday refused to show up for a farewell training session at the National Stadium in Banjul over unpaid bonuses. The bonuses relate to the team's qualification for the Afcon tournament, in which the players were promised $15,000 each. But after officials failed to pay the players, they chose the final day of preparations to go on strike, leaving thousands of fans who showed up to bid them farewell stranded at the stadium. Gambia is in the tough Group C alongside defending champion Senegal and 5-time winners Cameroon and West African rivals Guinea.
And now, let's finally do something entertaining. Chef Failatu Abdulrazak appears to have broken the world record after cooking non-stop for more than 227 hours. Wrapped in Ghana's flag, Mrs. Abdulrazak officially brought the cookathon to an emotional end with a salute to the crowd on Wednesday. Prior to the cooking marathon, she called it a national assignment, saying that she was doing it for Ghana. Her team says it will send the evidence to Guinness World Records for official confirmation that she has broken the record. The current holder of the record is Irishman Alan Fisher, who cooked for 119 hours and 57 minutes.
US-based Ghanaian gospel musician Sonny Bedu has called out Daniel Duncan Williams, son of renowned Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, to stop dragging his family's reputable name in the mud with his social media post. Just like many Ghanaians, the Baba hitmaker is certainly not happy with Daniel, who is popularly known as D Wolves for his unworthy actions which always cause controversies on social media and continuously cast a slur on his family name. D Wolves posted his nude videos on Twitter showing his manhood. Since the video went viral, Daniel has been strongly condemned for his actions with social media commentators, insinuating that he has allowed himself to be used as a vessel to bring shame and dishonor to his father.
And that's where we end the news. Good evening.